Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate Santana. I'm a wife and a mom of 10-month-old Eden Elizabeth and almost 3.5-year-old Olivia Joy. I am so sorry that I have not been on here recently. I am planning to do a video about why, but priorities have just shifted the past few months. But YouTube will be reprioritized, but recently it just hasn't been, and so I haven't been able to make as many videos, but I was in the middle of sharing with you guys my co-op. It's sort of like a pre-K kindergarten co-op curriculum for this year. This is the first time I've ever done co-op or sort of taken my first stab at creating curriculum for my daughter, Olivia, and I wanted to share with you guys what we are doing. And so essentially, I will link the videos down below that I've already done, but we are working through the 7 days of creation the whole year with a group of about 6 kids ranging in age from 7 to 2. So it's kind of a good mix for anyone that age, or if you have 2 or more kids that are within that age range, these activities would probably work for them. You can either make the activity a little more challenging or a little less challenging, whatever your child needs. So originally I was just making 1 video a week, but that is not going to be feasible anymore. So I basically finished telling you guys what we did for the first day of creation, let there be light and the separation of light and dark. So you can check those videos out. Today, I'm going to be making a video on all of the activities, which is 5 weeks worth of activities that we did for day 2 of creation. So if you're not familiar with day 2 of creation, essentially what happens is God makes a space between, or separates the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth, and he makes a space between them. And so essentially what we did for 5 weeks is study water, the waters of the heavens, the waters of the earth, and even a little bit played with the words space between and separation. So we would always start each lesson or each day with a Bible reading and a review of which day of creation we were on, what happened on day 1 of creation, what happened on day 2 of creation. We're now into day 3 of creation in co-op, and so we talk about days 1, 2, and 3. Eventually, by the time we get to day 7, we will be talking about all of creation. So the very first day out of 5 days, we basically just talked about space between and separation. At the time, it was late fall, and so we used this time to really talk about harvesting, which isn't related to water, but that's okay. We did water the 4 other days of this day of creation. And we talked about separating things. We talked about the point of separation, the fact that God has purpose in separation and in putting space between things. Where we actually do co-op is my grandparents' house, but it's sort of like a working small farm, vegetable farm, fruit farm, I would say. They have a ton of fruit trees, a huge garden. They have like a walk-in refrigerator where they preserve food for year-round eating. And there's just a lot of different tools and machinery and farm equipment on the property. So on this day, we actually toured the garden. We toured the fruit trees. We toured the freezer. We talked about what happens when you separate food from its plant and why we do that and why it's good. We talked about the need to have space in a garden. Why can't you just put all the plants on top of each other without any space, right? You need to have space between the rows, space between the fruit trees and all that. We also talked about separation of leaves from their trees in the fall, how the leaves turn different colors and fall to the ground. That is separation. It's beautiful. We talked about pruning and why trees need to be pruned in the winter. So just lots of separation and space between lessons when it came to harvest time. 2 other activities that we did besides just touring and talking and letting the kids sort of touch and smell and see is we did leaf collecting to do an activity later on at home, but you could do this within your co-op where you heat up beeswax and you dip leaves into the beeswax while it is still hot, and then you let them dry. And I actually made I thought it was a really beautiful like art piece with Olivia that we hung in our bay window in our kitchen for most of the fall. So I will show you a picture of that. And it was really fun. She really enjoyed dipping the leaves into the beeswax. And then The second thing we did is that I had printed out a set of pictures of plants and then pictures of food separated from their plant, and the kids did a matching activity. So they had to find the plant that matched with the fruit or the vegetable. So they did that. Sorry, I'm just looking down at my notes to see if I'm forgetting anything. We also read from the book The Farm That Feeds Us, which I will link down below. It is a really, really, really good book that talks about farming year round and what you do in like springtime, summertime, fall time, and wintertime around an organic farm. So I will link that down below. We read out of that quite a bit throughout homeschool co-op so far. It's been a really good book. So the next day we talked all about water. We talked about the fact that we need water. You can have kids drink through silly straws. Obviously it's fun to drink water, kind of, but it's not as fun as it would be as if you got little like twirly straws or any of the silly straws you used to get when you were kids. So you can get some silly straws for snack time and have the kids drink their water through the silly straws. You can do a clean and dirty bin to show the need for water to wash things. You really can't make it something clean very easily. I don't even know if you can at all without using water. And so you can make a bin that has like mud and some like play animals and stuff in it, and then a clean bin, and have the kids, it would be better if you did this outside in the nicer weather, have kids clean animals off and show the purpose of water in cleaning things. I showed different pictures of different climates and how water allows plants and life to flourish. So we showed a desert that really doesn't get much water. Why is there nothing green in a desert, really? Why don't I see a lot of animals in the desert, right? Because there's not water there. And then you can show a rainforest that gets a ton of water and all the life that flourishes there. So just talking about how much water allows life to flourish. Of course, we talked about the 3 different states of water, so gas, liquid, or ice, and we heated, is that the right word? Yeah, heated water up on the stove and let the steam come out so they could see gas. We took ice cubes out of the freezer and had them like touch them and look at them, and then we also just let them sit in a glass for the 2 hours during class, and then we came back to see, oh look, the ice is smaller now and there's like water in the cup too. What happened? You can also do a science experiment with a glass of hot water and cold water. It should be like a clear glass so kids can see, and drop food coloring in. The food coloring actually spreads a lot quicker in the hot water than it does in the cold water. So that's really cool to show kids. You could also do an activity with a dropper where kids take some water in the dropper and then try to drop it onto a coin, like a penny or something, and they can see that the water rounds on top of the coin. So that was really cool too. We also read the book Water is Water, which I will link down below. Olivia still loves to read that book. It is beautifully illustrated and I highly recommend it. It's a really good book. The third day we talked about the waters of the heavens. This day we actually just did a lot of arts and crafts projects. So we did a cloud project, which I will try to show pictures to you guys of all these things. A cloud where the kids had their name written inside a white cloud, and then they took little raindrops and made, put one letter for each of, or one raindrop for each letter in their name, and then string, and they hung the strings off of the cloud. So we still actually have it hanging in our homeschool room. It says Olivia on the cloud, and then we actually changed it to snowflakes, but at first we had raindrops on it. And each raindrop says a letter of her name, and then it says Olivia, and it's hanging there. It was really cool, and the kids really like that, talking about rain. We also did we used contact paper, which is just like sticky paper, and some cutouts of rain clouds, some cutouts of raindrops, and then just what's it called? Tissue paper, cut up tissue paper. And the kids essentially made like a sky collage, which I will show you a picture of too, putting tissue paper down and clouds down and raindrops down. So that was really cool. They did like a sun catcher. You can hang it in the window. We read Sunshine and Snowballs, which I will link down below, which is all about different types of weather. It's a really, really good book too. We did a puddle jumping game. So essentially you can put either pillows on the floor to be puddles, or you could put blue construction paper on the floor. And the point is that they're supposed to like hop around the room, but to jump from puddle to puddle. If there really are puddles outside and you're okay with it, you could also have them jump in puddles for this day. And then we did this Singing in the Rain camp song. Actually, I don't know if we did this, but it was in my plans to do it. It's like, I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. I'll link it down below because I'm not that great at it, but it has like a dance with it, and it's pretty cool to get the kids like up and moving. So you could do that on the Waters of the Heavens Day. You could also do other things on like storms, rain, hail, snow. There's so much you could do on this day to get kids thinking about the waters in the heavens. The fourth day, we did the waters of the earth. So we talked about different types of water structures on earth, like ponds, rivers, lakes, oceans, and then we dove in, haha, pun not intended, but it was there. We dove into the oceans, and we specifically read this book called In the Ocean, I believe. I'll link it down below, or At the Ocean. And we talked about the different zones of the ocean. So there's the sunlight zone, the twilight zone, and the midnight zone. And we learned about all the different fish that are in those different zones and why. And I actually bought the book, the Big Book of Blue stickers. I will link it down below. And we used the fish stickers because it came with a ton of stickers, enough for every kid to have some. And we talked about the different animals on those stickers, because there were some crabs and dolphins and turtles and stuff like that. And then there were more like the deep sea angler and things like that. So we put each animal where it belonged in our ocean zone craft. I'll put a picture, it's easier to see. Essentially we did like the sky was white, the sunlight layer was light blue, the twilight layer was dark blue, and the midnight layer was black. So we learned about the different zones, and that actually took quite a while. Then we read Rainbow Fish, and we read the book, and then we made a craft, which I will show you our Rainbow Fish craft. It's pretty fun. And then you just need like paper plates and paint and glue and maybe like a googly eye. And then the last thing that we did was we made a river with tissue paper and glue on like a white piece of paper, and then we used Legos, and the kids were trying to build bridges over the river. You could try to do other things with Legos too if your kids are really into them, like build a town around a lake or a pond or something like that. I don't even know if there are Legos that have water structures incorporated into them, but it's something that you could look up as well if you want to incorporate some like tactile building activities into this day. Okay, we are almost there. So the last portion of what we did for day 2 of creation was we focused on the sky. And this was right around Christmas time, and so we talked specifically about how God shows signs in the sky and how God showed signs in the sky to announce Jesus's birth. And those signs were a bright and shining star and angels in the sky announcing it to the shepherds. And so we did an angel craft with their handprints. So they put their hands like this on a piece of paper, construction paper, and the adults traced their hands. Those were the wings of the angel. We cut them out, and then we cut out like the angel's outfit. We let them pick like what kind of construction paper they wanted, cut out the angel's head. They colored it a little bit with like stars all around, or I'm trying to think. Oh, Olivia was really into she's so into cutting and scissors right now. So she cut a few things out that we like put around it. One of the biggest, it's not even a big investment, but one of the best investments that I've made as a homeschool mom so far is a laminator, which I will link down below. I have laminated her angel, and it is hanging on the fridge, so I will show you a picture of that. She's very proud when her art is on the fridge. So we did the angel craft. We did, I think, 2 star crafts. So we did stars with rainbow popsicle sticks and glue. So essentially it's really easy. You just take glue and glue the popsicle sticks together like in the shape of a star. Actually, there's several ways you could glue it. You could glue their centers, which I think is the way that we did it, or you could glue it into like a 5-point star, which I don't think any of the kids wanted to do. Maybe that was too advanced for them, but it was around Christmas time, so we made that as an ornament. And then I also found online a free template for a 3D star. So essentially you color in 2 stars, and then you cut them out, and you like slice little slices in the star so that it fits. I'm doing a terrible job describing this, but I'll link it down below too. But essentially the paper like slides into the other star, and it's like a 3D star. So we did that as well. We then did a glow stick dance party, just being like the light in the sky as Jesus was born, just announcing his birth, that there was like glory in the sky. And so we were doing the glow sticks, which they had enjoyed. I had those left over from one of the previous days that we did on day 1 of creation. And then the last thing we did was Christmas bingo. They really loved bingo this day, and so I've incorporated it several more times as well. But it just had different pictures. I found it online. Again, it was free. It just had different pictures on it, and Some of the pictures were angels and stars because that's of course a part of the Christmas story. So that's how we sort of incorporated it into the theme of the day. But really it was just a fun thing that the kids were so super into and having a really good time. I think we played maybe 2 rounds, maybe even 3 rounds. They had a really fun time. I hope that this gives you some ideas of what you could do if you want to study day 2 of creation with your child, either in a homeschool setting or just for fun because you have extra time with them at home. And stick around. From now on, I'm just going to make videos, one video per day of creation. So pretty soon I will be making a day 3 of creation video because we are just about finished up with that. We've only got 1 week left on day 3 of creation. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to check out the links down below. Like this video, comment, let me know if you're using any of these activities and how they go. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can stick around for more content like this. I hope you guys are well and I will see you soon. I hope. Have a good one, guys. Bye.